John needed peace. His city apartment, a cacophony of sirens and shouting, had become unbearable. His new novel, a dark thriller, demanded solitude. That's why he rented the cabin. Nestled deep in the woods, miles from the nearest town, it promised the silence he craved. The cabin was weathered, its logs darkened with age but sturdy. A stone chimney promised warmth from the biting wind. John unloaded his boxes, mostly books, a typewriter, and a meager supply of groceries. He felt a sense of calm settle over him. This was good. This was what he needed. He spent the afternoon unpacking, building a fire in the old fireplace. As dusk settled, he stepped outside, breathing deeply of the crisp, pine-scented air. The silence was almost absolute, broken only by the distant hoot of an owl. Yes, this was perfect. He could write here. The next morning, John started work. He lost himself in the world of his novel, the silence of the woods, a comforting presence. It wasn't until he took his lunch break, venturing out for a walk, that he noticed the first carving. It was on a tall oak, just at the edge of the clearing, a spiral crudely carved into the bark but clearly visible. John frowned, probably just some kids messing around. He dismissed it and continued his walk, enjoying the crunch of leaves beneath his feet. But as he circled back towards the cabin, he saw another carving. This time it was on a birch tree closer to the clearing. This one wasn't a spiral. It was a symbol he didn't recognize, a series of jagged lines that made him think of broken teeth. He found another one closer to the cabin, and another, each one different, each one unsettling. A knot of anxiety tightened in his stomach. Someone was out here, watching him. That night, John barely slept. Every creak of the cabin, every rustle of leaves outside his window, sent a jolt of fear through him. He kept the lamp burning, casting flickering shadows that danced on the walls. By morning, he was exhausted, but unable to shake the feeling of dread that had settled over him. He tried to work, to lose himself in his writing, but the carvings haunted him. He couldn't shake the feeling that they were getting closer, that whoever, or whatever, was carving them, was moving closer to the cabin. He considered packing up, leaving, but something held him back. A morbid curiosity perhaps, or a writer's need to see the story unfold. As dusk approached, the fear returned with a vengeance. He bolted the door, checked the windows twice, even though he knew it was pointless. Whatever was out there, whatever was carving those symbols, wouldn't be stopped by a locked door. The knock came just after midnight, 3 sharp raps on the door, echoing through the silent cabin. John froze, his heart pounding in his chest. He didn't breathe, didn't move. The knocking came again, more insistent this time. He had to do something. He grabbed the heavy iron poker from beside the fireplace, his hand trembling. Slowly, he moved towards the door. He took a deep breath and threw it open. The clearing was empty. The only light came from the moon, casting long, distorted shadows from the trees. John scanned the darkness, his eyes searching for any movement, any sign of... That's when he saw them. 2 points of light like malevolent eyes, staring at him from the edge of the woods. And then he realized what they were. Reflected in the moonlight, 2 of the carvings carved fresh into the bark of a tree just feet from the cabin gleamed back at him. Not eyes, teeth. John screamed.